Hi, Michelle. Welcome to Five with Founders.
I'm very excited to be here.
You are a Stanford-trained physician turned entrepreneur. At what moment did you realize the entrepreneur journey and path was the one that you wanted to take?
It's funny, I've always loved the idea of building a business, and I just didn't actually know probably what the word entrepreneur really was until I moved to Silicon Valley. But even when I was young, I thought about ways we could solve problems by building businesses. And I think in part because when you work in institutions, you see really how slowly these institutions can move. So I would say I was always kind of motivated to build a company that solved hard problems.
Medable has now scaled through multiple cycles. And when you think back on the earlier journey, are there one or two key decisions that mattered disproportionately to the success of the company?
I've thought about this a lot because the market cycles have a big impact on any company. And ultimately, what has been kind of our North Star is our mission and providing customers value against that mission. So, when you are in the hype cycle of low interest rates and massive funding, or in the hype cycle of AI, ultimately it's solving the hardest problems for the customers that are the most valuable. And also ensuring that your team members know that the mission is the boss. So when you make hard decisions, it's because you're in service of the mission of the company.
In 2025, it's hard to go one interview without mentioning AI, but it is a real dominant force in healthcare and in medicine. Where's one area that you think AI is really bending the curve for Medable?
So in our world, we are very focused on the operational part of developing medicines in clinical trials. And this is just a huge opportunity for agentic AI. So we have developed an agent that partners with one of the key roles in clinical trials called a clinical research associate. And the value of productivity and efficiency we're seeing is incredible. Now, this is a role that is resource constrained. This is a role that actually limits the number of clinical trials a pharma company can do per year because there are not enough people to do this job. So I think that in general, clinical trials will benefit from agentic AI tremendously because the manual part of this remains one of the critical bottlenecks.
We're now at a point where I feel like wellness and health are mainstream. Everyone is paying more attention to being healthy, and clinical trials play a big role in that. I'm curious, where do you think clinical trials will be going in the next, call it 3 to 5 years?
It will be so important for us to unlock the potential of this moment by improving the speed and lowering the cost of clinical trials. So I imagine a future where it's largely autonomous in terms of the ability to take a clinical trial from end to end, and humans are just providing that strategic oversight. That will enable us to take more shots on goal, pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies to develop more medicines. It will improve the cost profile and reduce the time.
Sapphire has been so fortunate to have been an investor in Medable since 2020. So we've been on this journey together for 5 years, and you've raised hundreds of millions of dollars from Medable. What are some lessons you've learned about what types of investors are most helpful?
What's interesting about building a business in life sciences and healthcare is you want investors who understand that ecosystem, but you also, in our case, we want to build a technology company that transcends any category in the way that it creates value for our customers and for our shareholders. So I think it's important to have, experts in the domain, but also experts in building just world-class technology companies.
What do you think will separate the ultimate winners and losers in the AI war?
I think we are at this incredibly important point of change in customer expectations. So I think customers realize that many of the software systems that they've bought are systems of record, and that's important, but aren't delivering exponential value, aren't really providing the ROI that they were promised. I do see a shift to value. How are you helping impact my business outcomes? How are you as a technology partner driving differentiated value for me as a customer? And I believe, in the next 2 years, we'll see a separation of those who focused on that value, really understanding what were the key levers that could be pulled to drive that business forward as a partner. Those who really deliver measurable value are going to win.
Thank you so much for being here, Michelle. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. When I think about Medable and I think about the impact of AI, I just get so excited because it's such a tangible example of how AI can impact all of our lives, frankly, and how Medable is truly a company of consequence.
Well, thank you, Kathy. And I can't really thank you and Sapphire enough in helping me and our team at Medable build a world-class company.